Have you heard of the dead internet theory?
What is it?
That actually after a certain period of time, there will be no longer people, it will just be bots. We need to have the humans in the loop. It should be us collectively. OriginTrail is about building the biggest collective knowledge base in the world.
Yeah.
Or what we call Collective Neurosymbolic AI. The way things have been heading and the way OriginTrail is growing, we are, even after async backing, which boosted Neuro quite a lot, we're getting at capacity. So I could totally see the future where more cores might be needed.
The launch team wishes you good luck and Godspeed.
Space Monkeys blasting off with Branimir Rakic. He is the founder and CTO of OriginTrail. Sir, welcome back to Space Monkeys.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me.
Last time we were together was also in Thailand.
Yes.
It's been an amazing journey since we were last together. I think you guys were just at MIT.
Yeah, just like 3 weeks ago, I think, something like that.
And what were you voted most?
Well, the best decentralized AI project. Yeah.
Amazing. And then you were just in Amsterdam as well?
Yeah, we organized the second DKG Con, which is the Decentralized Knowledge Graph Conference. So it was really cool.
Who was there?
Dude, it was a lot of cool people. So we had folks from Google, Amazon, Microsoft, like the old world, let's say, who are building knowledge graphs and such. We also had some really strong names from the AI world. Like, for example, we had Gary Marcus, who's considered the leading AI critic, who says that LLMs are brilliantly stupid.
Yes.
We also had Dr. Ben Goertzel, who is famously known for the term of AGI.
Yeah, right.
Dr. Bob Metcalf, our advisor, who also was speaking there.
Nice.
Just a bunch of really great people from lots of builders, actually 10 or more builder presentations launching their Paranets on the DKG, businesses already adopting the DKG. So it was a really action-packed conference.
What is it about OriginTrail that you think brings this diverse set of people together?
What I really learned across the years is really just the mission. People want to see a world where we as humans are still in power, where we have a verifiable technology underpinning pretty much business and private applications, really underpinning AI. So the mission of OriginTrail is to build, in a way, a safe, verifiable internet for this age of AI, which in a way is becoming less safe every day. It's not just the centralization problems anymore that we had to tackle. Now it's, fake news, bias. When you see some content online, do you really know if it's genuine? And I recently read some research. AI-generated tweets are 3% more convincing than human-generated. Small difference, but they're leading. And over time, as the AI improves, you can only guess that it's probably going to be better and better.
Yeah.
So there's actually a ton of people from all over the world. We had folks from Australia, from Iran, from Paraguay, Brazil, India, everywhere coming to Amsterdam, flying all the way for this conference. I was super surprised.
That's so cool.
From the community, people are building and are really excited about this mission of, actually making knowledge verifiable and true in a sense of, because could you really consider some fake news knowledge, or is it misinformation? Is it there to trick you?
Yeah.
So we need to not let these, anomalies or really pathologies weaponize knowledge against us. We should take over control. So in a way, OriginTrail is about building the biggest collective knowledge base in the world. Yeah. Or what we call Collective Neurosymbolic AI.
Yeah, I have to admit, I've been the AI commenters on X. I see them sometimes because usually they're using context from the tweet. Sometimes it even seems like they're pulling from the video or something, but it's just a little off, and I notice it really, really annoys me. But I know there's a whole bunch that I am getting fooled by already, and it bothers me.
Have you heard of the dead internet theory?
What is it?
That actually after a certain period of time, there will be no longer people. It will just be bots, and they will just be doing this all the time. And the question is actually how far we are off on that scale from zero to dead internet. And you would definitely could say that we're not zero. Just a question of somewhere in between. We need to have the humans in the loop all the time, but not human in the loop. It cannot be a centralized one, Sam Altman or whoever, nothing against the guy, but it should be us collectively. And that's why humans in the loop, that's why things like on-chain governance are so important. And that's why I love, even though some people can, complain about Polkadot governance this or Polkadot governance that, okay, that's great feedback, but dude, we just started this.
Exactly, yeah.
It's we as the world, we need to learn how to use this. We haven't learned how to use regular governance and democracy in like how many centuries? Like
That's right.
You know, so we only had a few years of this.
Hard
so
problem.
Absolutely, but it's great that everybody's participating, and I love that you know, so many great ideas are building up.
You guys have had some big releases lately. You mentioned a few of them on stage. Can you give us a quick recap?
Yeah, so we just released two major things, two building blocks for really this collective neurosymbolic AI.
Yeah.
2 out of 3. So we recently released Knowledge Paranets. That was just in inception when we were last speaking in March.
Yes, exactly.
So basically, these are parallel knowledge graphs, kind of like parachains on Polkadot, but you can run your own knowledge graphs on the DKG, and you can create them on a specific topic, running your own services, like AI services, for example.
Yeah.
And then basically boosting your project, creating a community around it. Now with Paranets, we launched something called DKG Edge Nodes. So these Edge Nodes are basically a new type of OriginTrail node that can run on any device. And the idea is to basically run any device, any chain by anyone. Think of it as kind of like WordPress. You download it and customize it a little bit, and voila, you have a blog or a fully fledged website. Like I don't know, CNN is running on WordPress, for example. Well, Edge Node is kind of like that. You download this, you set it up, and all of a sudden you have this neurosymbolic AI application running on Polkadot. So you can create knowledge assets, you can create AI bots, assistants, all kinds of applications on a specific topic.
Yeah.
And you can actually do that collectively. That's the whole point. So you can open it up, you can host it, for example, you can open it up for anybody to add knowledge to it, and you can also reward them. So the incentives are something you can build in the way you would like. So this Edge node is totally open source, and it's available since a couple of weeks ago for all builders who would like to build neurosymbolic AI on Polkadot.
So this Edge node, I mean, it's not like a full node that has like the DKG, but it can access the DKG. Is this the idea?
That's a good point. So you can sync the part of the DKG that you're interested in.
To you,
so
yes.
for example, you're interested in the storytelling Paranet or the sports Paranet or Polkadot Paranet or whatever. And you can say, download this whole thing. I want to have it on my laptop, for example.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. So it's not a full node, like you said. Those are called core nodes, and they actually host the public DKG. Those are the nodes that you can stake on. You can earn rewards by delegating stake to them. Very similar to like Polkadot delegating DOT to the validators, right? So the Edge node is a little bit more builder-oriented and end-user-oriented. So it has a very nice UI. It comes out of the box that you can modify any way you want. Has a bunch of APIs under the hood, knowledge mining pipelines, RAG pipelines, actually DRAG, Decentralized RAG pipelines, plugs into multiple LLMs at once, has a knowledge graph. So think of it as kind of like Substrate is for Polkadot. That's what the Edge nodes are for OriginTrail. And they allow you to build basically neurosymbolic AI on-chain out of the box.
Okay, so let me make sure I have this all straight. We have the DKG. This is the massive knowledge graph of verifiable assets that you've been contributing to. Your OriginTrail has been contributing to for years with your partnerships in supply chains and all this. This is the big DKG, right?
Yeah, the companies that are using OriginTrail create knowledge assets in the OriginTrail decentralized knowledge graph for years already. Yes.
Here it is. What we talked about last time, these Paranets, these are like domain-specific knowledge graphs for possibly specific applications. Is this is correct?
Yes, that's right. So anybody can launch a Paranet, and they can pick a topic, they can deploy their own services, they can pick which chain they want to use. For example, they can also use, Fala, for example, if they want to use something like with trusted execution environments.
Yeah.
It's a very configurable type of knowledge graph that connects directly with LMs.
And now these Edge nodes, this is something I can have on device.
Yes.
With the parts of the knowledge graph that are useful for my application.
Yes.
Why would I need this instead of just querying a full node? Like, what's the advantage to having an edge node?
It's a very, very good question. A couple of big problems with AI today. One is it's hallucinating and becoming more and more convincing. And like you said, bots all around the place are trying to take over.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of problem of control, but also like what kind of misinformation they create. But on the other hand, it's also misappropriating our data because it's centralized, it creates biases, it basically takes all of your information, which is extremely valuable. So Edge nodes, the point of Edge nodes is not only that you can build with them, you can actually stay the owner of your data. So you can run the Edge node on your device and keep your private data there and never share it with anybody, but you can use it together with the public knowledge graph, with Paranets. So for example, think of it like this. I can use my personal medical data, let's say, or sleep tracking data like this Oura Ring.
Yeah.
And I can put it in my Edge node. I never share it with the public DKG at all. It's just there. It's created as knowledge assets on my Edge node.
Yeah.
And I can ask, let's say, Decentralized Science Paranet, hey, tell me, how was my sleep? And it's going to use my data, and it's going to use the Paranet knowledge, and it will only query that from my device. So it's completely privacy preserving.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
And if at some point, maybe, just maybe, somebody wants to buy anonymized information in a crowdsourced way from many different people about sleep, I could also sell it to them because it's all on chain. It's basically tokenized already. Knowledge assets are essentially knowledge NFTs.
Okay.
So you could essentially one day get a notification in the Edge node, hey, somebody wants to pay 10 DOT for last month's sleep data. You want to get it? Completely anonymized. It's actually very close.
So really, it's a data sovereignty play.
Absolutely.
I got you.
So OriginTrail is completely privacy focused. We develop technology according to basically a privacy by design principle, and it's outlined that there's a famous paper about this. So it's human-centric, and it's really designed in a way where it empowers people, either as a collective or as an individual. And that's why if you are building AI in a Web3 way, in a decentralized way, OriginTrail is probably the best technology you can pick. I know I'm biased, but it's on the other hand, it uses the right things, the right tools for the right things. It doesn't put a lot of data on chain and use it unsustainably. It uses knowledge graphs, which are this symbolic AI, which actually is the best way to organize your data for AI. Because knowledge graphs have a lot of context, semantics. It's much better than just feeding it, basic PDFs or whatever that people are doing. Nothing against that, but knowledge graphs are the best thing, and they're the best symbolic AI. Actually, knowledge graphs and LLMs, they're like a match made in heaven, because LLMs hallucinate, but that's their feature. That's kind of the whole point. So that's why you can create a song about Kusumerian in, I don't know, some audio format or textual format, whatever. It's very creative. But if you ask it, I don't know, who's the Prime Minister of Denmark, it's very easy to make a mistake, and you can confuse it quite quickly because it's just guessing. That's the feature. While knowledge graphs, if you ask them who's the Prime Minister of Denmark, it's just going to look into the knowledge graph, and if it's there, it's going to tell you what's there. If it's not there, it's going to say, I don't know. So they're very rigid, they're fact-based, not creative, but actually they can do rule-based reasoning and inferencing. So when you combine those two, they cancel each other's problem. So this one not being creative, fills up the void.
Both.
We need both. So this is the whole point of Neuro Symbolic AI, which is really the next frontier where AI is really being developed. LLMs are pretty much everybody now is realizing that this is not what's going to take us to AGI in any way, and the hype is real. They're strong, but they're not the end game. So we need more things. We need blockchains, we need knowledge graphs, and probably other things as well. So that's why we need to get building altogether.
And who do you see using these edge nodes? Do you see it just as the individual tinkerers, kind of like what we're talking about, or do you see some sort of consumer application or business application? What's the vision?
Yeah, so all of it actually. So there's already business applications that are running with edge nodes. There's builders in the decentralized space, I mentioned the DeSci Paranet. It's just now about to launch. It's called SciGraph.ai, which is basically for scientists to contribute knowledge, papers, reviews on specifically neuroscience to start, but generally later for all kinds of scientific topics.
Yeah.
And this is a collective knowledge graph that they're building. They want to reward contributions. They actually just got a grant of 5 million euro from the community by being voted in what is called an initial Paranet offering or IPO.
Right.
So 5 million euro is going to be there for anybody who contributes valuable knowledge to the Paranet. They will get a bunch of Neuro back.
This is a Paranet being built around scientific papers.
Yes, DeSci specifically. And there's also a couple of others in the works. I know they're building a storytelling Paranet. There's a music Paranet in the talks. So not just enterprise stuff that people might be used from OriginTrail, but ultimately the idea of Paranet builders is that they can put literally an app in your phone if you want. So for example, they can take the Edge node, think of it as kind of substrate. You can build a parachain. Here you can take the Edge node and build a mobile app. And then that mobile app can, be for whatever, nutrition. It can be a nutrition Paranet.
Yeah.
And then you can scan and see, what kind of, what's the provenance of your food and what are the nutritional values, things like that.
Great.
I'm literally brainstorming out live here. But what we learned along the years is you cannot just build a protocol. Which is important. It's the rails and the plumbing, right?
Sure.
You really need to get closer to the user and build this UI part. And I think we generally in Web3 we've been very focused on protocols, which is important. But if we really want to get adoption, we really need to put it where the people are. So the phones, the laptops, places they use it, and make it easy. And that's why the Edge Node is here. It's a combination of all the learnings from multiple different custom implementations of OriginTrail we've seen. So with like companies like British Standards Institution, pharmaceutical companies, Walmart, Target, Swiss Railways, for example, a lot of the learnings there we brought into the Edge Node, and pretty much we open sourced a bunch of software that we could, so it's all now there, and actually battle tested for quite some time. So even though Edge Nodes are right now in beta, they will quickly go out of beta because a lot of that stuff was just in production for years.
Okay,
we're just like integrating it together. So
yeah, it's come out of real use. It's not like you're building new technology and you're hoping people adopt it. It's like these are solutions that you've already applied, and you're kind of package them together in these Edge Nodes.
Yeah. So what's great about
that's
this,
awesome.
For example, because a lot of these components were proven, if not all of them, like you can just take an Edge Node, spit it up, like say, takes a developer about an hour right now, but I'm sure we'll get it to be much less than that. But let's say in an hour, you can have your Neuro Symbolic AI system running on your device, and you can play with it and tinker it. And very quickly, you can build MVPs, prototypes, all running on Polkadot as well. You can build your own substrate custom palette if you want, or something on your chain, and just use it together with that. Nothing stops you. And having that said, very quickly you can get going. And the reason you can get going quickly is because all of these things are just something that we provenly shown people want.
OriginTrail is just different. You guys are just different. Okay, thanks, in a good way. Let me just bring us back, because at the beginning of this conversation, you're like, there are two new things, and we just had a great time talking about one. What's the other?
The collective programmatic treasury. So basically, this is the treasury of OriginTrail, which hasn't been touched much actually over the years since
of TRAC tokens.
Yeah, the TRAC tokens. So there's 60 million TRAC tokens that are going to be programmatically deployed on NeuroWeb. So the builders who are going to be building Paranets on NeuroWeb are going to be able to actually get portion of those emissions in a kind of a similar to Bitcoin halving type of emission scheme.
Okay.
So every 2 years, there's like half of the emissions get emitted. So 30 million the first 2 years, then 15 the next, and so on.
Every 3 years.
Every 2 years.
Every 2 years,
every 2 years. So we made it a little bit faster than Bitcoin.
Nice.
And essentially the point here is that kind of the mantra is those who use it will build it. So the idea here is that if you are, let's say, running a Kusumerian knowledge graph, Kusumerian Paranet, which you might want to do,
that would be a good one.
You could qualify for that track, and then you can use that to further develop your product, but also to develop the DKG in a way that you need it, because we can only do so much. And we really want to give power to the people in that sense as well. So this is not just, okay, we're running a bunch of nodes. No, we're actually building it together and sharing feedback. So in all possible levels, build this collective principle. And that also means that to get these incentives from the Treasury, these emissions, you also have to be voted in on the Neuro governance. So effectively, it's not that easy to kind of, for people to trick the system, because humans are always in the loop. That's a big principle with OriginTrail.
So you have these TRAC tokens. They've already been minted on the OriginTrail chain, which was initially Ethereum.
Yeah, they were minted on Ethereum, yes.
So they're going to be coming over, because you said the halving thing, so they're going to be transferred over to NeuroWeb?
Yes.
Yeah.
So 60 million of them will bridge over and deploy in basically a set of smart contracts. They're going to basically unlock progressively,
Gotcha.
So,
and then let's say you mentioned like a Kus Paranet. So I would come to the NeuroWeb governance and say, we want to open a Kus Paranet. And if they agreed, they would use their Neuro tokens to vote for it in favor.
Exactly.
Which would then unlock a certain amount of that emission to us in order to build that Paranet. Is that right?
Actually, slightly different.
Okay.
So it would qualify you for those emissions.
Oh, qualify us.
And then the way that you sort of compete for those emissions, because it's very meritocratic, is basically the more you use the DKG, the bigger the portion of emissions come back to you.
The more we use the DKG, as in like add to it, or the more it's queried?
The more knowledge you add to it, the more knowledge assets you create.
Okay.
The higher your score, let's say like that, and basically you compete with others. So it basically this emission gets split based on meritocratic contributions to knowledge.
Gotcha.
So effectively, it's not like a grant and then you can go and just do whatever with it. It's more like for builders who are already creating useful projects, they get to have the biggest voice, and they get to not only get those rewards, they also can use this IPO system. So like I said, you can basically also get Neuro incentives, again, voted in by the community. So basically, if you were to start a Kuz Paranet, you could detail your proposal, and you can launch this Paranet and ask the NeuroWeb community to basically vote in a certain reward pool of Neuro. Once that happens, effectively you've been vetted and you qualify to go into the competition for the DEF fund.
Sure. You mentioned earlier that one group just got a grant of Neuro. So Neuro tokens also being used to incentivize building out the DKG.
Yeah, so Neuro tokens are specifically designed to incentivize contributions of knowledge.
Yeah.
So in this particular case, the DeSci Paranet, scientists and reviewers and anybody who's contributing, generally to science, can now do it in a decentralized way, with basically submitting either papers or reviews or whatever into the Paranet. And because they spend the TRAC to do so, they actually get Neuro rewards in return. And I think they have something along the lines of 100 Neuro per one TRAC. That's what they ask from the community, which is a very juicy reward. So you can go spend a couple of TRAC and you get like a couple of 100 Neuros back.
Wow, gotcha.
So that's where Neuro comes in.
Okay.
TRAC is really for publishing in the network, staking, and then the Treasury is there, the programmatic Treasury is there to build out the future of the protocol, basically. That doesn't mean we're going to go away as a core developer team. We just want others also to have a better opportunity to contribute and to be, to join us in this. So we become less of a driver ourselves, but be one of the drivers where we have multiple people building in their ideas and learning and contributing. So that's where the TRAC is meant for.
Yeah, the vision's huge. You can't build it all out yourself.
Absolutely, yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And is there any specific mandate for this TRAC that's particularly being used for this, or is it just to build?
So it's generally the Treasury to build out the vision. So, so if you're already building and you're contributing, growing the knowledge, you've proven yourself, you can get a portion of it, and we trust you will know what to do.
Wow. Good stuff. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we head out?
We should go get some beers.
Let's get some beers. It's been a great day. It was a nice way to end it. Thanks for coming back on the show, and
Thanks for having me, man.
Following OriginTrail. One thing you did say on stage today at the end, Rob was like, hey, you have a lot of transactions, like, what's this kind of look like in the future? And I think you kind of hinted that we might need some more cores pretty soon.
Well, the way things have been heading and the way OriginTrail is growing, we are pretty much, even after acing backing, which boosted NeuroWeb quite a lot, we're getting at capacity pretty quickly. So I could totally see the future where more cores might be needed. I cannot promise it because we had to see the adoption. But from what I can see and share, there's a lot of interesting activities, not just by the builders, but also by enterprises who are either growing what they're already doing, or actually there's new ones that are really, really interesting.
It's awesome stuff. Ron, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Cheers.